Speaking of music, we're now going to discuss Polish folk music. If you're ready for it, if you're game.
I was born ready for Polish folk music.
What was that?
I was born ready for Polish folk metal.
Yeah, because I was thinking, we'll start with Slavland, and I don't know really much about them apart from they seem pretty kick-ass, more black metal style than I thought I would be discussing.
Yes.
And I'm very intrigued about them. So anybody who wants...
yes, so when it comes to... Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Steve.
When it comes to Slavland, I don't know, not much is known about them, I should say, because all I could find online is that they formed in 2001. Somewhere in Poland, that they've released quite a bit of music that I've listened to, and yeah, that they seem quite competent at doing this very, very sort of core black metal stuff, with the added folk sort of tinge to it. Very nice.
Ooh, yes, we like stuff like that. A blend of everything, and it makes it more interesting. And I feel as though, everybody talks about Behemoth, but I promised my friends that I wouldn't talk about mainstream bands. I talk about small bands. So
I knew a guy who once played drums on support for Behemoth. Yeah. It was quite dope. But
it's quite dope. Yes, I met Billy Mayhem a couple of years ago. Insane. How do I pronounce that one then? Is it Svarozhyc?
Svarozhyc. Yeah, very nice.
This is another band that I won't play it because I don't want to get it.
Yeah, it's just a static picture now. Yeah, these guys are very, very sort of dynamic with their style. This track is especially interesting because it's a black metal prayer. And so they mix a lot of very, very focused texts and lyrics, and also styles of singing with their black metal compositions, which creates really quite a unique combination. And yes, the topics are very, very pagan as well, and also this sort of Polish patriotic traditionalism, which is a lot about the dying and fighting and stuff.
Nothing wrong with dying and fighting because it makes the music interesting. It's like telling the story of how
exactly.
Poland was raised or born. To be honest with you, or founded is the better word. To put it.
Yeah, it is a very important part of the identity. We have quite extensive education in all the conflicts, and we have a great deal also through education and tradition, a great deal of respect and memory for our ancestors. Who it is very unusual for a European country, but we are taught that everything we have is through our ancestors' sacrifice.
You see, the interesting thing about the discussion that we're having right now, I recently got involved in reading about Peer Gynt, and I found it very liberating because at the time Peer Gynt was written, it was the time where it was the build-up of the battle between Norway and Sweden.
All right.
Obviously, the liberation of Norway was a slow process, because not only did it have to free itself from Denmark, it had to free itself from Sweden as well. And it had to find its own identity with its language. So it's a very interesting development of the reasons why we need folk music to just remind us of history and the developments of such things. It's not just about the Nordic gods or anything else like that, but
no, definitely it is connection to the continuity of like our people, so to speak, to like the whole lineage from the very beginnings of when we started being we kind of thing.
Absolutely. So it brings me to the next one, which I'm going to try my hardest to pronounce it so that I'm not sounding all weird. But it's Radogost.
Radogost, yes, that's perfect.
Oh, stop share.
Yes, Radogost is a relatively recent band. However, I find them probably the best band I've heard in ages, and that includes global sort of production. They are very, very good technically. I think you'd agree that they have good quality of sound, and their compositions are very good. And so what I focus the most with this genre actually is the text, because they sing quite a lot, and I just love it because all of their texts are inspired by either clear folk or neo-romanticism, which was a period in the history of literature before the war in Poland, where the poets and writers were extremely fascinated with all the ancient times and mythology and stuff, and it's all extremely mystical, occult, and really sort of mysterious, and it's really great to have this to show as a sort of other side for Svarozhyc. Because as much as that one was sort of touching on some foundations, this Radogost thing is more of a forward-looking spirit. It's way more sort of active. All the texts are more active and more affirmatory towards the old order that we all feel inside of us is. It lives through us, and that sort of messages,
Wow. So it's an actual spirit that looms around you. It's like a god.
Yeah. Radogost itself it was a Slavic deity worshipped in like Western Slavic lands, like sort of East Germany, Western Poland.
Awesome. Well, I find this extremely fascinating because, most people don't get to hear this on the radio. And so you have to actually know your bands before you type them into Spotify sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm giving people the opportunity to just get to know other bands. But I felt like Radogost... When I heard them for the first time, they sounded so much like Vader rather than anything else. And then the drumming was quite intense,
Yeah, but Vader is more towards thrash metal as well, yeah.
Yeah, but everyone compares Behemoth, and they have that. But if they like Behemoth, they're gonna like Radogost, because that is a band that everybody should have been paying attention to as well.
Oh, definitely. The quality is. Yeah.
Is that true?
Sorry?
For Radogost, it's been going on for about 20 years.
20 years? Not. Oh, well, it's 2020. Yes, about 20 years as well. Yes.
Yes. The same time.
I just realized how old I am, and I made myself sad.
We'll just pretend, all right? The two of us will just pretend. We're talking about...
Yes, it's a relatively new band.
It's a relatively new band. We'll do what Slipknot did, you know? Relatively new band.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, and obviously, 20 years ago was a time of creativity and vast improvement on sound and technology.
Yeah.
Even in film and stuff, we had breakthrough films like Blade, and there was loads to mention. The list is too intense. We had The Matrix as well. So that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was the digital era, right? It was touted and flaunted everywhere that you were going digital and quality is gonna be better than you can imagine, you know.
Absolutely. So you also went through the same things in Poland.
Oh, of course.
That's why
we have we have these pushes occasionally. Like before it was electrification, so like everybody was like chipping in just to get electricity everywhere in Poland, right? And then in the 2000s, it was the internet and digitalization of everything.
That's awesome. So I'm gonna now discuss the next band, which I'm really looking forward to. But let me see if I can say it. Is it Cat?
Cat. Yeah, it means the executioner.
The what?
Executioner.
The executioner. Cat.
Yeah. It's way more concise in Polish.
Way more concise, yeah, because I'm dealing with concise languages right now, and having to be more concise. It's this one I liked. I'm trying not to play the sound so I don't get told off. But this one I liked. It was very very unusual.
Yes, and that's what I love about them. Absolutely unique atmosphere that they have in their sound. I can't really put my finger on what makes it, but it's something about. It might be just their sound setup that just gave that effect. But it's really I've never heard anything like it.
I have to agree with you there. It was very, very interesting, and I can't believe that there's like such a cult following for him.
Oh yeah.
I was actually quite shocked as soon as you told me about that band. I was like, let's have a look. Let's just type this into YouTube. All of a sudden, there's like people playing this song, on the guitar.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
It's actually a funny story also about freedom of speech in Poland. So Kat and the vocalist and leader was an avid Satanist.
Yeah.
And Poland is an ultra-Catholic country, right? So what was happening is that they would invite the band and the vocalist to TV, to national TV, to have a debate with him. and to see what those Satanists are all about. You know, he was a bit of a celebrity for a while as well.
Yeah, that's controversial topics, and many of these creative bands, they always like controversy. They're sort of like, we live for those moments. If only we could have TV back to the way that the standards that it was. You know, when they investigated about small bands and stuff. But we all have to do our homework now, so it's like it's all hearsay. So we hear from a friend, it's like, yeah, listen to this band. Whoa, yeah, this is amazing. Try this out. And now we can't have that.
Unfortunately, I don't even know how I found Radogost myself. It was an absolute accident. I set out specifically to look for Polish folk music as I was getting into studies of the Neo-Romanticism period. So I went to look specifically for Polish folk music, and I was like, nah, can I have some metal? As I put Polish folk metal music, and through a lot of various bands of highly varying quality, I had one track of Radogost, and it just hooked me. And I would really appreciate if someone told me about it, sooner.
Yeah, and this is why I feel as though it's really important to make these shares, so that other people get the opportunity to also hear these bands that we've never heard. And they're about 20 years old.
Yep.
It's like, sorted. We're now problem solved. Right, we're going to talk about our next topic.